The Age Group Podcast. The Age Group Podcast. The Age Group Podcast. The Age Group Podcast.
About 15 years ago, I took a drunken bet that I couldn't get through a triathlon, and then woke up with 6 weeks notice and thought, oh, I need to get a bit of training in. Hadn't swum for probably a good 10 years by that point. Hadn't got a bike. I had to borrow my dad's hybrid bike, and I thought 10k run, that'll be fine. I should be able to get through that bit.
Welcome to the show. It's an absolute pleasure to have you here. Today's guest has a story that proves it's never too late to trade the football pitch for the open water and eventually the world stage. He started his triathlon journey in 2019 at the age of 35, looking to shed the dad bod. Suffering from his knees, probably from all the years of playing football, what started as a move into open water swimming quickly spiralled into his dedicated triathlon journey with the Tuff Fitty Club. Despite the global pandemic shutting down pools, just as he'd started, he dusted off an old bike, set his sights on the aquathon qualifier, and he hasn't looked back since. Last year, Mark completed 24 super sprint triathlons in 24 hours, starting one every single hour on the hour, and he raised over £4,000 for Alzheimer's Research UK. It's a feat so gruelling that I just can't imagine what he went through. Absolutely amazing. So I hope you really enjoy Mark's story. It was a real pleasure to hear all about his journey and meet the man himself. So Sunday saw the second qualifier for the sprint distance European Championships in 2027. We were supposed to be racing up in East Fortune. Several of our teammates made it up there to the race and had some fantastic results, and I'm sure they've done really well enough to qualify. We'll keep our fingers crossed for when those results come out. So that was good news. The bad news was that me and Mrs. C couldn't make it. Mrs. C had an injured hip, and about 9 days before the start I pulled a calf muscle, so that put me out. Very disappointing. We were wallowing in self-pity all weekend, missing out on a trip up to Scotland with the club, which we'd done last year and really thoroughly enjoyed it. But that's the way sport goes sometimes. You just got to regroup, get fit again, and try and hit the next start line. So yeah, over the weekend I was thoroughly miserable. I was that miserable I did a YouTube video about the mental side of DNSs. Lots of people talk about post-race blues after you've done your main event, what's next. But not many people talk about when you don't start, you don't get to the race, you don't get onto the start line, the DNS. So I put together a YouTube video about how I was feeling having not been able to start the East Fortune race after so much training. So go ahead to my YouTube channel, the Age Group Multisport podcast YouTube channel, and have a watch of that. Quite telling, really. This week we bounced back, we're feeling better. The weekend's gone, and we move forward and we start rehabbing and then looking to the next race. Okay, we've got a couple of podcast recommendations, and the first one is 8 tips for racing your first sprint triathlon, and that's by Triathlon podcast, and it's featuring a former guest that we've had on this podcast, Ben Somerville, who is now a coach for Tridot. And then the second one is by the Huberman Lab, and he's talking about the essential benefits of sauna and deliberate heat exposure, and he goes into the specific protocols for deliberate heat exposure, including recommended temperatures and ranges and frequencies and time durations and some sauna alternatives actually. And I found it's really yeah, it was really interesting. I'm an avid sauna user, usually go in the sauna 2 or 3 times a week. Just for a relaxation point of view, it's so beneficial. So there are a couple of recent podcasts that I've listened to, and I would highly recommend that you listen to them too. Lots of sport on the telly over the weekend, which was just as well because that's all we watched. It's all we did. I didn't do any training whatsoever. Just sat in front of the telly and watched the cycling, watched the World Indoor Athletics, some fantastic performances from the Brits. Yeah, thoroughly enjoyed it. And Strada Bianchi was a phenomenal race, and Tom Pidcock was so unlucky, spoiler alert, to get pipped on the line by Tadej Pogacar. So that was pretty cool. And the cycling continues this week with the Tour of Catalonia, which is fab, and the one-day races that start on Friday and go all the way through the weekend. There was also the World Cup Triathlon, second race of the year, which the Brits did really, really well. Sian Rainsley got third for the ladies. We had 2 men on the podium for GB. The winner of the men's was Ollie Conway, and Hugo Milne came third. So did really, really well over there. I think it was in China, that race. And then there was the 70.3 that we sort of dipped in and out of. Good race as well. Ladies was won by another Brit. Kat Matthews did it again. And Christian Blumenthal beat Hayden Wild to take the spoils in the men's race. So yeah, another good race. And again, I think they're going to come thick and fast now. We're into the season, and yeah, look forward to watching. And especially because World Triathlon have lifted the paywall. It's free at the moment. Not sure how long that's going to last, but that's pretty cool. Right, let's get on with the main event. Hope you enjoy Mark's story, and we'll see you on the other side.
So, my name's Mark Walford, from Littlehampton in the south coast. Been training with Tuff Fitty Triathlon Club for the last 6-7 years, and did my first age group Great Britain event in 2022. I've just had to go back and check all the dates because it all starts blurring into one. In the 35 to 39 age group to start with, slowly creeped into the 40 to 45, kind of top third, never attempted to challenge for a podium or anything like that. Fairly dedicated triathlete, train 8 to 10 hours a week on a fairly regular basis. So that's me.
Good. That club rings a bell. Who have I interviewed? Somebody from your club?
Oh, I'm not sure actually. We've had a few. Probably our most decorated person's Nikki Treacy. She's won a few at top level. Hillary, Maisie Johnson. I'm just trying to think who else. There was quite a few quite competitive people before I joined. We've got about 8 to 10 of us who've done the GB stuff, but again, similar sort of level to me. None of us at the moment pushing for tell a lie, I've done Katie Young a massive disservice. She's won gold in a few aquathlons and things like this, but yeah, it's quite an inclusive club, more participation rather than performance, which I actually really like because that's my end of the market.
I think that's it, isn't it? It's great to have. I guess it's quite a big club, is it?
Yeah, we've bumped up in numbers the last couple of years. We're about 200 now. A little bit of a turnover of people, but we can talk about triathlon all day long. But one of my big worries about getting into it to start with was I thought you had to be super fit and really elitist, and actually happened to join the club, I realised actually I wish I'd known this a long time ago. That's really not. And we've got people who are swimming 100 meters in under a minute to people who swim in 100 meters in 3 minutes. And actually we're all part of the same club, all get along. It's a really good social club. So, and it covers quite a big area around us. So yeah, I really liked it.
Yeah, and I think that's the beauty of a club, isn't it? That you have got each end of the spectrum. You've got the young ones who are really rapid, and then you've got the older ones who are, have slowed down from where they probably were, and everything in between, all different levels, and it's just
Different distances as
so good.
well.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, different distances.
A lot of my stuff has been sprint distance, but people I train most with have been training for an Ironman and things like this. So so it's a nice club, and actually not heard many bad things about most clubs. And
cool. So what did you do growing up as a kid, sport wise?
Grew up playing football. I say playing football. Spent a lot of time on the subs bench as a kid. God loves a trier, and I was definitely that as a kid, but I was not gifted. But I loved playing football from about the age of 6, 7, like a lot of young boys growing up, and played Saturday, Sunday. League. I say a lot of time on the subs bench, just kept on giving it a go, but got a good circle of friends, went through secondary school playing football, then into adult life, did a little bit of running on the side, but nothing major, more just to try to keep fit. But the problem playing football is getting injured, especially Sunday league. So what was happening, playing on a Saturday, Sunday, getting injured, not training throughout the week, and just over years you kind of pick up knocks and tears, and didn't get to a good standard. But as I got older, started enjoying kind of the running side more than football, and then started kind of transitioning out of it. Did a little bit of swimming with my dad. Never had a swimming lesson in my life until Tuff Fitty in 2019. My dad taught me to swim. We just went along for the sake of it. So, and I just enjoy being active. And school sports day would give everything a go, but was never gifted at anything. But once I started getting into triathlon, realised that it's one of these sports that actually, when you work hard at it, you get the rewards. With football, it's not quite like that. If you can't kick a ball, you can't kick a ball. But I love giving it a go, and wouldn't swap it again. But kind of wish I transitioned out of football a little bit sooner than I did. But bit of football, bit of running, a few racket sports here and there, bit of squash, tennis. Actually played paddle the other day for the first time.
All right, and how was that? Because everybody's getting into this paddle now. We've just had some courts put up near us, and it's becoming really popular.
Yeah, that's it. Everybody seems to be playing it. I was like, somebody needed a player. I was like, I'll give it a go. It was all right, but there's not much running in it. I was like, I was quite shocked. Yeah, it was quite pleasant, and it's, again, people I'm seeing through playing football for years. It's nice to go out and play with them. It's not too bad, but I'm definitely more of a solo sport person now. I like the team environment, club stuff like that, but it was definitely remind me I quite like training by myself and things like that, rather than relying on a player to mess up a forehand smash or something like that. So I've been always enjoyed sport. Wouldn't say I was ever gifted, but gave it a go.
It's so good, isn't it? Trying anything and having a go. I think it's a great attitude, and I'm sure that's stood you in good stead for triathlon, that's for sure. How did you get into triathlon then? How did you find out about it?
Well, I've kind of got two entries into triathlon, if I'm completely honest. Talking about playing football, end of the season, probably about 15 years ago, I took a drunken bet that I couldn't get through a triathlon, and then woke up with 6 weeks notice and thought, I need to get a bit of training in. Hadn't swum for probably a good 10 years by that point. Hadn't got a bike. I had to borrow my dad's hybrid bike, and I thought 10K run, that would be fine. I should be able to get through that bit. Oh my God, it was the worst day of my life. just the triathlon. I didn't bear in mind the hills. I didn't know anything of what I'm doing. Somebody from the club, somebody from my football club was doing it, and I did it. And I think I looked up the results the other day, and I came something like 168th out of 180 people. I was awful. But I swore I'd never do it again. And then started getting a bit unfit after having kids and needed a bit of a challenge, couldn't play football anymore. And one of my best mates had never been into fitness, and he wanted to do Great North Run.
Right.
And one of my best mates from school lives up in Newcastle. So a group of us in, I think it was 2018, trained up to do that. And I really enjoyed the process of actually having a goal, working towards it. My knee was a bit sore after, and thought maybe I won't train to go further in that. But local to us, there's the River Arun swim. It's a 3.8k tidal swim down the river. And it'd always been on my radar going, I wonder if I could do that, having swum okay as a kid with my dad, and thought, I'll go train up for that. And I couldn't see entries to it to start with, but I found a little local lake swim for 3.8k for the next next May. So thought, right, I train up and got myself a swim membership and trained up, and then I realised how far 156 lengths in a pool was, and I was like, so I kept on going and got myself in decent nick. And then I thought, training open water is going to be different, but it was so cold that I couldn't get in anywhere. So the first time I actually wore my wetsuit for a swim was on the start line of that race.
Right.
And I was bricking it and got in and absolutely amazed myself, enjoyed every moment of it, came out just over the hour. So I was really pleased with that, and it was kind of top 10-ish, and I was like, whoa, where did this come from? Maybe I'm all right at this. And I enjoyed the whole process of it. So signed up for another one later in the year. And then I don't know where I got this from, but I thought, oh, they do a 10k swim. I'll give that a go at the end of the year. And did that and really enjoyed the open water swim. And I thought, I need to get coached to get better. And I thought, where can I swim? And I saw the local triathlon club, and I thought, maybe I'll give that a go. And we just talked before about how elitist I thought triathlon was, and I was a bit afraid kind of messaging them, and got really kind messages back going, yeah, come along, we're a social club, everything like this. Went along in about the November sort of time. Sorry, 2 seconds, you're right. Sorry, little boy came in.
Oh, bless. How old?
5.
5. Is he into football?
Pardon? No, BMX.
Oh, BMX, nice.
Yeah, it's my girlfriend's little boy. He loves his bike. So, yeah, he's come through looking, going, wonder what all that chat is. Nice. So, yeah. So I was saying, started getting into the swimming and thought, need to get coached, and went along for a few sessions with Tuff Fitty. And then that was late 2019 and started getting into it. And then 2020 happened and COVID hit.
Yeah.
And the whole world shut down. I was off work. I've got 2 young girls. They were about 3 and 4 at the time. I was at home with them. Wife was a care worker, so she was still going to work. So I was at home doing everything. And then that hour of exercise a day became like my safety net.
Yeah.
So my little time for me. So I thought, well, I can't swim anymore, so I'll run. And then I thought, well, I can't run every day because my knee previously hurt. And one of the few things that you could get done was bike servicing. And I had an old rusty race bike in the garage, so I got that service. So one day I'd cycle, one day I'd run, one day I'd cycle. And then I think most of the country was doing Joe Wicks every morning.
Oh, right, yeah.
They started getting fit. So suddenly I realised I was training 2 hours a day, and then came out of lockdown and I was fitter than I've ever been.
Yeah.
And because I've been part of the club, I've started to know a few people online and things like this, and people were inviting into triathlon. And so the start of 2021, I signed up to a couple of different events, my local Arundel race, one down in Eastbourne, which was a qualifier, which I'll come on to in a bit, and a 70.3, and didn't have a clue of what I was doing. And then Arundel was my first race, and having come in the bottom 10% last time suddenly shot up and found my fitness percent of my local triathlon. I was like, where did that come from? And then suddenly realized I enjoy training, and like I found a love for running from it. The bike, not so much. The bike is something I tolerate.
Yes, yeah.
But yeah, the swimming and running, and about February that year, I thought, yeah, I wonder if I can make the aquathon team, because I'd heard so much.
Right, yeah.
So yeah, kind of, it was a slow transition in, but yeah, it definitely wasn't love at first sight with that. I've still got mental scars from riding my bike up that hill in Chichester.
Yeah. Was that the very first one that you did?
Yeah, the very first one, and I've driven up it since, and I'm amazed I got up it. It's now one of my challenges is to go back and do it. It's just part of a training ride now, because I know I can do it. Because again, when I was got my bike challenged, there's a Arundel Hill near us. I couldn't cycle up it the first time I went out, and then again 3-6 months of dedicated training. It's amazing what you can do when you start putting your mind to it. And yes, I was definitely a late bloomer into it, but yeah, once I started doing it, then really enjoyed it. And then I was saying I entered into Eastbourne, the sprint distance there. And I think because I didn't know anything about the GB triathlon scene at the time with age group, the standard was a qualifier. But I think another company had folded through COVID, so the sprint became qualifier.
Was that a full sprint try?
Yeah. And I thought, I was down for the sprint, and I thought, I wonder. So I registered my interest and thought, I don't know where I will come. And I came third in my age group on the day in Eastbourne, and I couldn't believe it. And then I found out that somebody from the younger age had come up, and I was like, oh, is there going to be somebody else? And I thought I'd done all the maths going, I think I've made the GB team, the age group team. And then, it was a couple of weeks, very nervous way. And then I was like, oh my God, I've done it. So I kind of fell into it.
But you would have got a roll down place even.
Yeah, knowing what I know now.
But at the time you wouldn't have known that.
Yeah, and I thought I got in there by complete luck. I didn't realise that a lot of people either specialise in sprint or specialise in standard. They're almost two different athletes. Some jump up and down. And I definitely had imposter syndrome. I think probably most people who put in the
I think everybody who's been on the podcast said the same thing. Me included, imposter syndrome. When you first start, it's like,
that's it.
Am I good enough?
Thought I qualified by luck, and not gonna lie, there was probably a bit of luck in there, but a lot of hard work as well, and then trained up really hard. And it was Montreal for 2022.
Was there anybody else in the club at that time had qualified for age group that you could remember?
No, nothing that I know of. It was actually our chairman when I put a message on, because I was doing a few races. I said, is joining British Triathlon worth it? If I'm only doing like 1 or 2 races, should I just get, I don't know whether day passes were a thing then, but I knew that there was a little bit more cost. And he sent quite a big message back going, these are all the benefits of joining British Triathlon. And one of the bottom bits was about joining the age group team. And that's what first put it into my head.
Right.
And now I know a few people. And once I qualified, then I started finding out other people have qualified from the club. And Montreal, I think there was 4 of us. And actually, one of my people I do my most amount of training with now, me and him barely knew each other. And we went out to Montreal. And then now there's probably about, say, 8 or 10 of us who've done that type of thing. And it's a bit of a, now I know the system, it's quite easy, but at the time you try and get your head round. I'm telling people at the moment, don't worry, you will get a place. You've not qualified straight away. You're definitely a down place. And
there's so much to it, and all the races are different, aren't they? The sprint's different to the standard qualification, and the standard's different to the aquathon and the aquabike and the longer. They're all different, and that's the problem I think British Tri have got, is trying to get people to understand. And I think they are getting better at it because they're putting seminars on where you can log in. And
strangely, before they did that, I did it for my club about 2 years ago. Going, look, I found it difficult, and I went on and I cut and paste lots of documents together. Going, look, if you will try and do aquathon, this is how it works. If you try and do triathlon, this is how it works. If you do middle distance, this is how it works. So I was trying to share my knowledge, but now, as you say, I don't need to do that so much because there's the seminars. But again, a lot of people are a little bit intimidated because
I think the problem is the seminars are okay if you're already aware, and you're an age grouper. People outside, when they see what you're doing, they don't get it. They haven't got the understanding. Even people in triathlon, it's like it's still not out there as much as it could be, but I think they are getting better at it.
Yeah, and also, I know that I kind of fell into it a little bit by accident, but I text one of my best mates going, look, I think I've been really stupid. I think I've wasted, I think it was £12.50 at the time, registering my interest. He was the only person I told. So for me to attend a seminar to say, how can I do it? I think it's quite a big step.
It is.
So
we already have imposter syndrome, even when we've managed to qualify. So just think how it feels attending a seminar when you haven't even done that, and you want to try and find out about it.
I had a few people join for I think actually I did it via Zoom after us talking about the difference between Zoom and Teams. I think I did it via Zoom, and then I put out a recording. And I know lots of people watch the recording, didn't join the seminar, and I wonder whether a lot of it is they'd go, I don't want Mark to know that I'm thinking about joining the team, because we've got lots of people with that ambition who don't know the system and don't want to kind of put their hand up and go, I want to give it a go, because they might feel silly for not doing it, which is a shame.
It is. And I think the thing there is, it's like, look, you're training for triathlon already, right? What's the worst can happen? The worst that could happen is that you lose your £14.50 and you won't qualify. Big deal. There's other races that you can go and try. You know what I mean? And and I always say this on the podcast, the beauty about multisport, and it's not just triathlon, is it? It's aquathon, it's aquabike, it's duathlon, it's triathlon. There's those 4 different disciplines that you use your strengths and you go and have a go at those. If you're not good at swim, bike, run, then try something else.
Yeah, well, my first target was Bilbao, which was later on in 2022, and subsequently I did qualify, but I thought my bike was such a weakness that I'd never get there on the bike. So actually I was always targeting aquathon. So I had to learn kind of that system. And we've got some people who really struggle to run. So they've started doing aquabike. And I've just realised, because aquabike's a whole different world, that there's kind of a standard distance and slightly longer distance. And that suits certain individuals, doesn't suit other individuals. I think it is getting better. I do think people are breaking down that stigma of it. But I definitely felt that, so I know other people will feel it.
But kudos to you for putting these things together, and it's something that I've been thinking about trying to come, because I've got a YouTube channel that I put the podcasts on as well, but I also do videos of my training and what I'm doing on there, and it's something that I've thought about putting videos together for people to try and understand the different parts of, but it's so complex to try to try and work out, you want to make it so people can understand it, you know what I mean, at a basic level, and not go too, but it's quite complex, isn't it? You know what I mean? All these different things.
And then, as say, there's the top 4 qualify, but then somebody could come up from the age group, and then so then a couple of people are pre-qualified, and then you get the roll down places. But aquathon, you might not get the roll down place if it's a pool swim till Q3. It is
a minefield. It seriously. I mean, I have looked at it and I've thought, well, how how can you simplify this? And
Yeah.
so I am interested to watch the webinar and see what
Yeah.
they've come up with.
Yeah.
I can't even remember when it's on.
No,
Or has it been?
um,
I don't know. I
I
can't
think
remember.
they've done one or two.
Yeah.
So, but I don't know again whether they've made it available to then go back and watch.
They usually
'Cause-
do, yeah. I mean, I haven't been on the British Triathlon website for a while, so I must go on there and have a look and
Yeah.
see what it's about.
It's definitely getting better.
Yeah, yeah,
And again, your work, age group news, things like that. So people can start doing a little bit of research before, so they start understanding that world, because it's just a different language.
yeah, absolutely. And people don't think it's achievable. Well, actually, it is. For
Yeah.
most people, when they try, it is achievable. But you got to
Yeah.
put the work in. Don't get me wrong, but
Yeah.
it is
Oh,
achievable for most.
and add T100 to that now as well, because
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
another thing. So
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Cool. So you went and did the first qualifier, and you got your qualifying position. Q3 was it in the end? Yeah, Q3. Or
Q4,
Q4.
because
You got Q4 because
yeah,
somebody come up. Yeah.
yeah.
So, and that was for Bilbao,
No, Montreal.
Montreal. Right.
Yeah.
So you went out there, and how did that go?
Yeah, amazing. As I say, so nervous before.
Yeah.
Trained harder than I have for anything really. And again, I thought it was going to be a one and done, my only chance to do it. So I was going out going, please don't come last. But if you do, doesn't really matter.
Again, that thought process, isn't it?
Yeah,
Everybody's the same. I don't care where I come,
yeah,
unless you're really, really good. I don't
yeah,
care where I come, as long as I
yeah.
don't come last.
Yeah, and then joined a few of the Facebook forums and Facebook groups and stuff like that. Didn't know anybody at the time going across from my club. Subsequently, I did know somebody who I started training with. So I was going across, going, okay, well, I don't want to act like I'm a GB athlete because I don't feel like it.
Yes.
So even simple things like when people wear their uniform in the airport, I love seeing it, but I still feel nervous putting anything on. And the first time I flew, I didn't wear anything like that. Went across, and it's lovely because you can see who's there, and caught flight over and actually started speaking to people on the plane. I met a couple of people on the flight who I've done all my GB stuff with since. I shared some accommodation with some people I randomly met on Facebook. And that's a gamble. You're like, yeah. So we got dropped off in a taxi in the middle of Montreal at about 1 o'clock in the morning. And I knocked on the door. I thought I was sharing with two ladies who were in the 60 plus age group and a guy in the 50 plus age group, and a 25-year-old lad answered the door. I was like, are you David? And he said, yeah. So I completely messed that up. Couldn't have been friendlier. The two ladies in the morning, I think I just got lucky. But then actually, subsequently, I've met so many people on the age group scene, and actually most people are really nice to talk to. I was putting my bike together the next morning, and the guy said, oh, I'm going out for a ride with some of my friends. Do you want to join us? I was like, yeah. So I was going over expecting quite an isolator time, and ended up being really social with people who he knew, who then I started speaking to. The ladies who I lived with coached me through quite a lot of things because I was still really raw. I didn't know how to do transitions. And actually, while the ladies, me and her went out and we practiced jumping on and off our bikes, tying elastic bands to do the shoot, because I'd never done that before.
Well, you were brave. You were brave doing it over there.
Yeah.
Not practiced.
Well, that was it. We spent about an hour. I was like, oh, this isn't difficult. And and then race day itself, the hottest day ever. And yeah, it was an amazing experience. Almost missed my start time because I was just there chatting to the guy from my club, and I kind of looked around. I was like, there's no orange hats from my wave. Where are they? Looked over the edge, and they're all on the pontoon. Had a massive adrenaline rush running down, but managed to get there with and they said about 30 seconds to go. So I was like, right, calm down.
Calm down.
Just take this in. And I still got the mental image in my head looking out. Had brilliant swim for me, came out, and again, draft, legal, sprint distance, funnest bike ride I've ever had.
Yeah.
I came off on the run. It was like 30 odd degrees. And I was like, I do not feel like I'm going to do this good. But yeah, couldn't have been happier. Checked the results and mid sort of range kind of. I went back to look because now you don't remember stuff like this. I was 22nd out of like 66 or something like that. So top mid third. And had an amazing time. Also did the relay.
All right.
That was really nice because after the race, I started meeting my teammates because that was the first year of doing the relays and they pre-arranged the teams. So we'd had a WhatsApp group. So again, there was a couple of people who I kind of knew from there. Mixed team relay. I'd just go out to do those. I love them. I think they're again, you get to meet different people. Came back from Montreal going, I love that. And thought, I wonder if I can go again. But my time wasn't quite good enough to get me. So I booked straight in for the final qualifier for Hamburg.
Right.
I'm sure it was Hamburg. Yeah, Hamburg the year after. And the bug got me from kind of that first time. So, then Hamburg, I did Bilbao, Hamburg, Madrid with the European. I suddenly looked and I was like, I've done 9 events now. I was like, I don't know where that time's gone. So, and all in the sprint stuff. Because that's kind of my first love. I love the hustle and bustle of being on the bike and things like that. So it's definitely struck me. It hooked me in.
Have they always been triathlons that you've qualified for?
No, so Bilbao was aquathon.
Aquathon.
And I've done a Menem, I think.
Menem.
Years ago, that was aquathon. My bike's not good enough for aquabike, but and I think a couple of because it said 9 starts, and I think a few of them have been the relays.
Yes.
So I've done a couple of Europeans. Madrid was one of my favourite courses, even though that was changed to a duathlon. Learned a lot then. There was a lot of panicking going on from other people. And I'm fairly relaxed about things. So it got changed the morning of. I don't know if you were out there for Madrid.
No.
So Madrid. There've been rumours about water quality, which I've subsequently found out is pretty commonplace.
And it seems to be. There was a period of I think it was 23, 24, where every event there was like some problem with the water quality. I don't know what it was, but you didn't really hear much of it last year from a quality point of view. I mean, even in the Olympics, wasn't it? In France, they had issues.
Yeah, well, I went out to watch.
Did you?
In the Olympics, and I thought, I'm not going to get to watch them both. We went out for the 2 days to watch it, and then actually, from a spectator point of view, having the 2 back to back was an amazing experience. And again, I never would have done that. I wouldn't have even thought of going across the France to watch the triathlon. So. Madrid, there was rumours about water quality, a lot of nerves, and then we turned up on the day and they were like, swim's cancelled, but it was split transition.
Oh, right.
All of our shoes were completely elsewhere, and people were losing their heads, and I was like, it will be what it will be. I was quite relaxed, and I knew I wasn't in the best shape, and I just thought, I've never done a duathlon, something a bit different. And some people are loving it because they're duathlon specialists. And I just thought, I'll race dumb, I'll race until I blow up and actually surprise myself. And that's kind of sometimes the beauty about being naive to these things. I don't think I would do that now. I think I'd be a bit more conservative. But there's a massive hill in Madrid, beautiful course. So it's taken me to places that I wouldn't have gone otherwise. Hamburg for the triathlon, they are crazy for it out there. Then you've got little Menem in the Belgium-France border. I could take my girls to it, and that was lovely. Them coming along and seeing me race, and we made it like a little family holiday, and I just did a slight little race on the side. So it's taken me all around the world. Around the world. Montreal was the big pinnacle, and I never thought. I've had to pick and choose my races since because it's a costly process flying all over the
Yeah,
place.
it is, isn't it? I mean, you're right on two fronts there. It does take you to places that you probably wouldn't think of going. You can make holidays out of it. You're making memories, and that's the beauty of it, isn't it?
Yeah,
And but it is expensive. Yeah, yeah,
yeah. So it's strange because as soon as I found out that the Worlds were going to be in Wollongong last year, I was like, I just can't do it.
yeah,
Simple. And it ruled it out. And
yeah,
then I was a little bit lost because I kind of didn't have a target.
yeah.
But then equally, I've just seen Kitzbühel is Europeans next year. And I've
Right.
suddenly gone, oh, I'm quite excited by that. That
Mm.
I know historically the Kitzbühel Hill.
From skiing, isn't it? Yeah, I used to watch that
Yeah,
Ski Sunday, and it used to be Kitzbühel. Yeah, one of
yeah,
the down
and
ones. Yeah,
Ali Brownlee destroyed a field. There was a
that's right. Yeah,
race
yes.
there, and it was 20k basically uphill, and he
Mm.
destroyed everyone. Not gonna lie, I think that hill could break me as an age group. But
Yes, yeah.
the idea of going out there and yeah, I suddenly gone, yeah, maybe that could appeal.
It's
And
set a light.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah. Cool. Excellent. I mean, that's really a really nice story. And then we move on to, I guess that took you up to 2024 with your triathlon and age group.
yeah. So I did. It was initially Malaga, and then it got changed to
Yes. Yeah.
Torremolinos, and I thought I've done it 3 years now, and Wollongong was definitely out of my price range. And actually, I had a really nice race to finish, and I thought fancied something a little bit different, but I didn't know what
Yeah.
in 2024. And I thought, what am I going to do in 2025? And been toying with a few different things, and I I thought, no, I want to do something special, and I thought I want to do something for charity as well, link it in. But if I said I want to do an Ironman, sponsor me, nobody would do that because they'd go, well, you love triathlon. so,
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
so I thought I need to make it something a bit different. And it'd been in my head for a little while. And then I was also quite nervous because all my stuff has been an hour, 2 hours.
Mm.
And I thought, no, I'll go do something big and long. And when I was a child, I was always fascinated with 24-hour challenges.
Right.
And I don't know why, but just the idea of somebody doing something for 24 hours always appealed. So I thought, what can I do? And I thought, can I do back-to-back sprint triathlons? And then I thought, how long does a super sprint take? And I started working out the maths, and I thought, I wonder if I can do 24 super sprint triathlons in 24 hours. And I thought, no, that's stupid. And I ignored it. But that kept coming back to my mind over the next couple of months. And I thought, maybe I can. And then I thought, you need to try and make this happen. And I thought, before I do anything, the hardest bit is going to be getting a swimming pool
Yes.
for 24 hours.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I messaged a few local pools and was hit with stone cold silence. And then I messaged a little school. It's about half an hour away from me in Calfold. It's a little community pool, and said, I've got this idea. I wondered if I could potentially book it for next year. And I got an email straight away back going, that sounds amazing. We'd love to be on board. I was like, oh, I might need to do this now. And I was like, brilliant. Subsequently, I found out that the lady who kind of oversees the pool, her young boy, he's about 9, is into triathlon. So as soon as she
struck a
saw
chord, yeah.
so we made a deal that I could have the swimming pool for 24 hours as long as I gave a school assembly over what I was doing. And I thought, right, so we were talking earlier, I've been working in care 20 years. Alzheimer's is a subject very close to my heart. So I approached Alzheimer's research, said, I've got this idea. And they're like, that doesn't sound normal, but that sounds brilliant. So I suddenly went from training for sprint triathlons for going, can I do 24 back-to-back super sprints? So I put it out there and thought, I don't know if this is possible. I thought doing them, if I was racing, half an hour-ish, just over, but the idea of continual ones. So I was like, right, what is a pace that I can steadily hold? So early part of 2025, I did a thing at my local swimming pool where I did 8 back-to-back indoor triathlons.
Right.
So I used our local swimming pool and then did 25 minutes on spin bike and 15 minutes on the treadmill. And finished it, and my body felt okay, but my stomach definitely didn't. And I thought, what have I bitten off here? And trained up, because doing it overnight as well was something a completely different experience. So I started waking up at midnight and doing duathlons in the middle of the night, back to back until 8 o'clock in the morning when I'd go off with my triathlon club. And it slowly built steam, and it got towards the day, and I thought, I am relatively confident I can do 12 hours at that pace. Pretty confident of 16. I thought beyond 16, I don't know. And so the charity were amazing at sharing the story. The local community were brilliant. I just expected a few people who I know who would come and help me for bits, but some people came down, joined me for the swim. I had about 20 kids swimming with me for the first couple of them. People coming out in the middle of the night to give me water and food and things like this. So that was 27th of June last year, because I wanted to make it as close to the longest day of the year, but my daughter's birthday is the longest day, so I was a week later. Definitely wasn't easy, but I managed to make it through, and raised about £4,000 for Alzheimer's research, and couldn't have been happier with how it gone. And it's kind of given me the bug for the long stuff, but I know my heart's kind of with the short stuff.
That's amazing. That is an amazing one to think about it, doing the super sprint. So just for everybody out there who doesn't know what a super sprint is, just explain the distances and how you worked out the time for each one to get 24 done in 24 hours.
So it's a 400-meter swim, 10K bike, and 2.5K run. So 400-meter swim, I've got a race this weekend. If I'm going top speed, for me is probably about 6 minutes 30.
Right, that's pretty good. Really good.
But I thought there's no way I can hold that pace. So I was like, about 8 minutes, 2 minutes 100 is steady-ish. But I gave myself 10 minutes to kind of get out, transition and everything like that. So I gave myself 10 minutes for the swim. But one thing I hadn't factored in is I was so grateful for the pool, but it was only 12.5 meter pool. So there was a lot of turning, and I can't tumble turn anyway. But I hadn't factored in swimming in the middle of the night with no lights and things like that. So there's a few tricky bits, but it was about 8 minutes for the swim. The bike, I gave myself 25 minutes for, which was holding about 25 kilometers an hour. I think it worked out ish. But I thought, I know I can hold 30K on steady rides, but after 24 hours...
it's that drop-off, isn't it?
And I can really... There was a perfect square loop from... square loop, you know what I mean? From the pool. But I couldn't help the topography of it. And I didn't realise there was 130 metres of climbing in that 10K. So I'd done a few little loops before and thought, there's a few bit of a hills there. So that started to bite me. And then a 2.5K run, and I was forcing myself to run about 5 minute 20 per kilometre, thinking I could give myself 6 minute kilometres, and that would be about 12.5 minutes running to 15 minutes. So if I had 10 minutes on the swim, 25 minutes on the bike, and then the 12.5, 15 minutes, that gave me about 10 minutes off. And then go again. I pretty much stuck to those times, apart from a couple of issues. One road closure, so we had to divert on the bike. One mechanical on the bike, which put me back. Actually, my first one, because
Get out of the way early.
Yeah, and because I was in such a short pool, I actually miscounted my lengths on the first one, and I did too many lengths in the pool. But yeah, it was good, and there was a few dark points during it, physically dark. And so I started at 7 o'clock in the evening, thinking I'd get the night time out the way as soon as possible. But about 3 o'clock in the morning, I started hitting real lows because there wasn't that many people about. I was running down the road and my torch went. So for me to get back to the swim pool, I had to run through a graveyard in the middle of the night in the pitch black. What am I doing with my life? But our club chairman came down and he joined me for the 4 o'clock bike ride in the morning. And I couldn't have been more grateful to see anybody in the world at that point. And then the sun came up whilst we were cycling. And suddenly from 3 o'clock, hitting the floor, thinking, I don't know whether I can do this, to 5 o'clock, feeling like a brand new day. Brilliant. I had loads of people come and join me for little bits of the swim, little bits of the run. So I had new stimulus all the time. But yeah, I slept well that night.
I bet you did. Well, congratulations for actually doing it and completing it, and for the money that you raised as well for such a worthy cause. So
Thank you.
Brilliant. So, well, fantastic. You know, the whole thing has been really, really. I knew it was going to be a good one because of your email that you sent. So I've really enjoyed listening to just your journey, right? Really through what you've done. So thanks for sharing that. So we've just got the quick fire questions to go. And the first one, as always, is what's your favourite bit of kit?
Favourite bit of kit? I hate to say it, but it's got to be my tri-suit, actually, because I hated it the first time I ever wore it. Okay, I think like most people, you're really self-conscious. I was in transition. I had a t-shirt over me going, please don't look at me. But I think more specifically, my first GB tri-suit, because now I can kind of look, you've got them on your back wall. I'm sure the turbo has done me much greater things than the kit itself, but what the kit represents is probably my favourite bit.
Cool. Yeah. Nice choice. They're up there because they inspire me. They're nice as a backdrop, but if I have them hung up, I want to get them framed, but I've not got round to it yet. But they're up there to inspire me to keep training and keep doing it and try and strive for getting to qualify every year, really. So I
did something very similar. For my challenge, I missed a few pro triathletes to get a few bits for a raffle, and Jess Learmonth was amazing. She sent me some stuff, and actually some of the kids from the local club won a few of her tri-suits and go around wearing them and love them. But she sent me a really nice note saying good luck on your challenge, and I put it on my fridge. Because as much as I love my training, I also love my food. So every time I went to that fridge, I was like, oh, no, I've got something. So, I do something similar. So having them up, that visual.
Yeah. It is a visual, isn't it? To spur you on, Brilliant. What does a week of training look like for you at the moment? And I know it's obviously not what it usually would be because the time of the year we're in, but...
Well, I would never advise following my training plan. I'm quite renowned for not training the most sensible, because my life, I think most age groupers, you've got to fit training around your life. Now I've got 2 young children. I've got a job that takes me, some days I can be working 3 hours close to home and have 6 hours to train. I can be on a day like today where I was working 2 hours away and I'm there all day. So sometimes I just have to fit in around my life. So at the moment, there is a lot of running because I've signed up to a 100-mile ultra. So
you've definitely gone long then.
Yeah. So it scared me and excited me as much as my challenge. And I thought, I fancy it. So I've been away in the Isle of Wight with my kids, and I got about an hour to go for a run on Saturday. and then got back and managed to get 2 hours. So went out and did a half marathon on Sunday. Then Monday managed to sneak an hour in, and I got in the pool and the treadmill. Then Tuesday I was working local, so I thought I need to get used to running on tired legs. So I did another half marathon before work on Tuesday, and then my daughter was running a local corporate challenge, and they have adult races, and the school wanted me to do some running for them. So it was 4.5k in the so-called A race, so flat out. So I've gone from running, I think I've counted about 60k in 4 days, to last night 4.5k flat out. And then today managed to sneak a bit of time and jumped on the trainer at the gym. And then we were talking before, I went down to have a swim, but the swim pool was shut. So I jumped in the sauna. So my training is consistently erratic. And I think somebody on one of my training runs the other day said, there's unconventional training and then there's Mark's. So I never suggest it.
Well, I think you've just hit the nail on the head there. You're consistent, so you're trying to get something done no matter what it is, which is great, isn't it?
Yeah, my rest days are forced on me because of work, kids. So sometimes I look at my diary, I just go, Thursday, there's no chance I'm going to train. So I have to train all the other times. The only steady thing that I usually have is Saturday morning. My club, we run on a Saturday morning up in Arundel. It's usually about 10-kilometre social run. It can be 6 to 7 minute kilometres, real stone to steady. So that's a nice social run. We have a coffee afterwards, and it's kind of a staple of my week. But if I'm running and trying to train, then often I turn up early. So I'll turn up at 6:30 or 5:30 and do big long runs. So yeah, it's not pretty age group triathlon, like running in the pitch in the rain at 5:30 in Arundel, questioning my life choices in the winter. But actually it's worthwhile come the summer when actually that pace is back and things like that. So yeah, it's jumping in the pool when I can. I've just finally got my turbo set up at home, so I can do a little bit more cycling. So yeah, it's just fitting it in wherever I can. So yeah, for me, there's not a typical week, but it's usually 8 to 10 hours. But sometimes it's 4 hours one day and then 1 hour a week, 1 hour a day for the rest. Other times it's a little bit more even. Intensity depending on, like, I try to make as many club sessions as possible. If I can make track, then I do that. But then sometimes I go, well, actually I need to do a longer run. So yeah, it's all over the place. But
it's
I think
whatever works, isn't it, at the end of the day?
And I think that should be the case. I don't think we need to glorify doing 15-hour training weeks, because that sets people up to fail. Like sometimes it's 6, sometimes it's 10. Like, but if you're consistent with it, then that's the big thing. So yeah, I think you're hitting nail on the head, consistency.
Yeah, I mean, it's great that you've said all that, because that just shows that, you know, people have busy lives, and you know, we do this for fun. We do it to keep fit. We do it for longevity. All those, we do it because it's a lifestyle. We do it for all those things. But we've got to fit it in around everything else. And it's great that you've come on and you've said what you've said, because that's like pretty much what everybody has to do, although they don't, you know, really.
It's not sexy, it's not glorified.
No, not at all.
It's, as I say, sometimes running when I don't want to run, but actually I know that I'll benefit from it. And also, sometimes I need to not stress if my girls are sick. I'm going to be a good dad, I'm going to look after them. And I don't care if I run 20 seconds, 2 minutes slower in a park run in 3 weeks' time, because I've been a good dad, because I'll be a happier person. And I think a lot of people get so fixated on need to get quicker, need to get better. And we were talking at the start, I've had to go back and look at my results. I don't I can't remember where I can. Nobody really minds. Okay, and I understand some people really want to push for a podium, and yeah, brilliant, go for it. But actually, having a bit of flexibility in life is really important. And yeah, you don't have to be a person who has to swim on a Monday, has to swim on a Tuesday, because actually you can do a little bit of everything.
You can, yeah. Wise words, brilliantly put. What's the best bit of advice you've been given?
Best bit of advice. Actually, it's club mate of mine. I've almost alluded to it there. He is an age grouper from a few years ago, and he said nobody cares about your result. And actually, that really changed it for me, because I was like, I finished Hamburg, and I think again I was kind of 20th, and I looked at a couple of people, and I thought, I know I can keep up with those if I do this, if I do this, if I do this, if I train a bit smarter here. And I thought, what am I going to have to sacrifice to get top 15? And I thought, and he said that, and I thought, who cares if I get top 15? Nobody has ever gone, you're only 22nd. Yes, it's always nicer to go quicker. And even I can't remember my results. So nobody really cares. Yeah. And once you know that, it's a bit freeing. Obviously, you need to qualify and things like that. But actually, I don't really care. And actually, I do it because it's fun. It's a hobby. It shouldn't be too onerous. And I understand a lot of triathletes like kind of that focus, but sometimes that focus can get away. And actually, it should be a fun hobby. So, yeah. Nobody really cares is probably my best piece of advice, and it's something I carry with me all the time.
Yeah, 100%. And I did a YouTube video on exactly that topic. Nobody cares, because people get so, I've been to so many races where people get so stressed about the simplest of things, or actually the race, or, you know, what other people are thinking about them. And, you know, people don't care. People aren't thinking about you. They're that wrapped up in their own, you know, their own processes, their own problems, their own lives. They're not, you know.
Well, I'm not sure.
The only people that care, and if they do care, they want to see you do well, you know. And if that's just like qualifying and going and racing, that's brilliant anyway, isn't it?
I'm not sure I want to admit this to everybody, but I'm quite happy to. I'm more well known for my mistakes than I am doing anything with regards to triathlon. In Hamburg during the relay, Hamburg had the longest transition I've ever seen. It was about 600-meter transition. My bike was one of the first that I dropped off. Super, like tiny little race on the sprint relays. So it's like a 6K bike. Came off the bike and 1.5K run. But transition was like 600 meters. So panicking, and actually usually I'm pretty good at transition. Run towards the end of transition, and I noticed sort of the marshals were looking at me a bit strange. And I thought, what's going on here? Tapped my head, and I had my helmet on.
I've seen it before. I've seen it before.
And I looked back and I thought, if I go and take it back, that's just too far. So I just run with it for 1.5K. And then you end up in the pen at the end with all the other athletes. So I was there with my helmet, and they're like, you got a guy running with your helmet? I was like, yeah, that was me. I'd done a running dive that day, which is horrendous beyond belief. And actually, nobody cares. Actually, they quite like the fact that I share my mishaps. Okay. I've got
makes you human, doesn't it? Makes the stories human that you tell, you know.
And it means that people don't beat themselves up about the little things that they do. I'm well known for getting lost in signpost races. I did 15K and a 10K race. Actually, doesn't really matter. Nobody cares. So,
I mean, if the likes of Johnny Brownlee can go in and one of the super tries, he had his helmet on and he was going in for a swim, and you know, if somebody like at that level can mess up, we all can, and we all have. You know,
that's it. People should share them. People enjoy hearing those stories. As you say, it makes people human.
Yeah, brilliant. So the last two questions are, your short-term goal then is, obviously you've already talked about, you're going to do your ultra.
Yep. Well, short-term goal is I've got my triathlon club got a Frosty Aquathon this weekend. So,
right.
Yeah,
I think
800
short.
meter, yeah, 800 meters, swim, and then 10K run. So it's kind of season opener, but it's just kind of friendly little event. But yeah, I've got a 50 miler to qualify for the 100 miler, but I did 50K just before Christmas, so I'm relatively confident. So yeah, that's my focus this year. But we were talking that Kitzbühel and Hamburg are sprint next year.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm tempted to get to
have a look at that
group scene.
Yeah, cool. And then longer term, what's your long-term goals?
Long term, I want to be in the sport for another 10 years. I've seen a lot of people, even in my short time, come in and go out. And actually I enjoy it. And yeah, so it's not my long-term goal. Yeah, I'd love to win a medal, but I think realistically I'm not going to in the age group scene. So just continue enjoying it. I will probably dip in and out of doing longer stuff. As I want to fit around my kids. So some years that might mean racing more local. Some years it might be one big event. Like I love doing the T100 in London.
Right.
So I might do something that sort of distance, because that's kind of still feels a bit like racing. But yeah, I think if I'm still doing triathlon in 10 years time to whatever level, I'll probably be happy. So that's probably my long-term goal.
Cool. Well, that's a great long-term goal to have. Well, listen, thank you ever so much for coming on and sharing your story. And it's been wonderful to speak to you and meet you. And good luck with everything.
Brilliant. Thank you. No, thank you for having me on.
So once again, a big thank you to Mark for sharing that wonderful story. Much appreciated. And thanks to everybody out there that's continually supporting this podcast. And yeah, if you'd like to come on and share your story as an age grouper, having represented your country, please do get in touch with us. You can email us at the Age Group Multisport Podcast @gmail.com. You'll find us on Instagram at amp_podcast. We're on Facebook at Richard Joseph Conway, and we have our own YouTube channel, as mentioned earlier, which is AmpGB. All the podcasts are on there, as well as my training and racing videos and hints and tips for triathlon. So check the channel out. So that's it for this episode. Don't forget, stay safe, keep training, and love the process.
The Age Group Podcast. The Age Group Podcast. The Age Group Podcast. The Age Group Podcast.